Brian, I'd like to kind of shift it. I know you're more familiar kind of with the professional level. I think we're beyond the days when athletes will outwardly say vicious things about the gay community in like a statement. You know, like what Tim Hardaway said. I think we're beyond those days. I think athletes, either they have good PR people or whatever, I think they're beyond that. But I think what is more common today is what another co-founder of You Can Play has described, Patrick Burke, described as casual homophobia, where it's just these slurs that are just spewed about so freely. So I was going to ask, from your opinion, how prevalent do you think homophobia still is in sports? If it's the people that really have major opposition to the gay community, are they just being quiet? Or is it actually changing? And then if it is just the casual homophobia that's left, kind of how can we kind of work to change that?
Well, I think it's a little bit of both. I don't, you know, I guess I would answer in two ways. First of all, I think homophobia starts very early. You know, from the time that you're, 7, 8, 9, 10 years old, you don't know what it means, but you're starting to say, don't be a fag. And it's while you are in locker rooms, it's while you are on a school bus, and nobody corrects you, okay? That takes a societal push to change that. You can still sit in a stadium today, and you can never get away with saying you're using the N-word, but you can still say don't be a fag in a stadium, and people are going to look at you a little funny, but there's not going to be some big pushback. So I think that what is happening is that slowly but surely, parents, athletes, programs like Athlete Ally, You Can Play, Glisten's program, Change the Game, I think things like that are starting to start discussions at a much earlier age. There is resistance to the gay community. It is no different in sports than it is in religion or any other sector of society. But I think it is much more difficult to voice that in ways that are offensive to, I think, society at large today than it probably has been at any time in the past. I think that it's also important to know, and I think that we've really found this working with the You Can Play project, is that athletes, I think, have been pegged with kind of the image of being homophobic, when in fact lots of them aren't. Out of the 35 or so NHL players alone that we asked to participate in the You Can Play project, only one told us no, because he was a little bit concerned about what his family would say, what his fans might say. So that means that there were 34 guys that said yes, without question, without reservation, and the guys that you've seen in these videos and the other ones that we've produced are not no names. There are some who have stepped up. The Sault Ste. Marie hockey team, small team in Canada, they made a video. But the guys that you're seeing in the videos that HBO has produced for us are all stars. They are team captains, and these are big names. And so I think that when you get guys like that and women like that, the ones who are going to start making videos on our behalf, that's when you get athletes saying, we are not homophobic, but you never asked us. And I think that we have found that a lot, that, and I was telling Erin earlier, we had the chance to talk to the American Hockey Coaches Association at their winter meetings last year. It's not that they were homophobic, they didn't know how to bring it up, and they didn't know how to talk about it. And that's kind of one of those weird common sense things. And so again, I think, to sort of wrap up the answer to your question, I think things are changing, but I think that this is one of those things that you have to talk about, you have to be aware of it. If you are an athlete and you hear that type of language, you have to say something. You have to be familiar with it. I guarantee you that if you were an athlete or you played sports, you've had a gay or lesbian teammate on your team. Just because you don't know it doesn't mean that they weren't there. And I think that things are changing enough that eventually you will know that they're there, and eventually society will tell you, you absolutely cannot use that language without dragging everybody else down. What athletes care about, what coaches care about is winning, And if that gay kid can help you win, or that lesbian player can help you win,